This is the Pin Power Podcast with your host, Kara Chase. Every week, Kara teaches you about Pinterest marketing, online entrepreneurship, and productivity. How-tos and insider tips to build a strong foundation for marketing your business. You can read more about each episode over on the blog at karachase.com. Now, let's dive in.
Hey, thanks for listening in today. If you haven't already, click subscribe to listen to the Pin Power Podcast wherever you tune into your favorite podcasts. If you want to get started learning to use Pinterest for your business, head on over to karachase.com and get started for free. Today, I'm talking with you more about entrepreneurship and productivity, specifically how to create simplicity as an entrepreneur. We all want to believe we can better ourselves and change bad habits. Much like starting a new diet on Monday, New Year's Day provides a starting point that the whole world can get behind. Much ado is made of January 1st and resolutions, and for a good reason. I have both stuck with and broken many resolutions over the year. But like with most goals, the idea and the vision in my head of what life would be like once I made those changes is far more romantic than reality. The reality is we have deeply cut neural pathways that define our behavior, and changing those habits is a feat like no other. I don't know about you, but although I know myself to be a fiercely determined individual, I'm not really keen on setting myself up for negative self-talk from the beginning of the year. Anytime you realize something isn't working for you, your business, or your life is a good time to make a plan to improve. More than any other technique or plan I've tried, I know that creating more simplicity in my life is the quickest path to improving habits. Simple is defined as not hard to understand or do, having few parts, and not complex or fancy. Becoming an entrepreneur is the single biggest course I have ever taken on self-improvement and self-discovery. In 2015, I parted ways with the social media agency I worked for, decided to forge my own path, wrangled with a toddler, anxiety, and self-doubt. I also met some amazing people, both online and off, that have supported me and cheered me on. Over the years, I've gone from one child to two, from renting to owning our home, and countless other micro shifts in my life that make it look different than 5 years ago. It wasn't a single moment or revelation, but as I've continued to run my business, niching from social media marketing to Pinterest marketing and client focus to building a membership site, the more I've realized the value of simplicity. Creating a simple way of living and conducting my business reaches into every corner of my day, with my business, my family and friends, and my lifestyle, like food and exercise. So let's dig in. Business is first. After about a year of being on my own, I realized that if I continued to follow every online entrepreneur's advice out there about how to run my business, what software to use, how to set up my funnels, and on, that I would never unravel the rat's nest of systems that I had created. The more I listened to experts, the more confused I became with if I really needed the latest funnel software in order to make good money. I created calendars, SOPs, to-do lists, funnels, elaborate customer journeys, which all ended up being more trouble than I needed and too complicated to maintain. The longer I've been in business, the more I realize that simplicity is what equals productivity. I went from having lots of content upgrades and forms for everything to 2 main lead magnets and a simple client application system. Having fewer funnels lets me be more purposeful and strategic about that customer journey instead of trying to fire hose them with everything I know. By having my potential clients apply to work with me, I can tell quickly if they're going to be a great fit, instead of offering discovery calls, which, quite frankly, I just don't have time for. Even my move to niche from general social media to Pinterest was a move to simplify. Instead of trying to keep up with new strategies and best practices from multiple platforms, I only had to stay on top of one. And one of the most creative and fun things I've done to simplify is creating my own planner. The Pin Power Planner is an easy, simple, printable planner that helps me create my Pinterest marketing strategy, map out my yearly and quarterly goals, and keep track of appointments and to-dos with monthly and weekly spreads. I will link you up in the notes. Okay, next let's talk about lifestyle. I deal with sometimes a crushing level of anxiety that started in a less than pleasant childhood and has continued to manifest its ugliness in adulthood. I learned to deal with anxiety by using food to feel better, which obviously isn't healthy mentally or physically. Couple that with running a business from home, and it's a recipe, pun intended, for disaster. I could spend all day on Pinterest planning out complicated batch cooking, recipe lists, grocery shopping plans, but the reality is I can barely get the laundry done, let alone chop vegetables I don't even like for 2 hours. So that's not really achievable or an exciting goal for me. It just feels more stressful. I also know from experience that if I throw away all unapproved foods in the house, I'll just crave them more and fall off the wagon hard. When you add in a hubby that's a picky eater and 2 kids, it becomes very unmanageable. No thanks. A couple of years ago, I started with the Ketogenic Diet, and what appealed to me was the science behind quality fat for better brain and body functioning and the simplicity of how to eat. I started easy with just eliminating sugar, and once I got the hang of that, then I learned more about really eating keto. It's simple for eating out and making food in less than 5 minutes. Minimum effort, easy food, no stressing or overthinking. Yes, please. While everyone is different, and of course I cannot give diet or medical advice, I can tell you that I've struggled with weight and emotional eating since I was a teenager, and keto is the only thing that has truly been a lifestyle change for me, not a diet. I don't stress over working out either. I love walking in our neighborhood and know it's the best way to relieve any anxiety that might be overwhelming me. It helps me clear my head, and I love walking both by myself and with my family. Instead of thinking of working out as punishing myself or paying the price, it's now simple self-care for emotional wellness. Next up, let's talk about friends. When I started my business, I got very different reactions from friends. I quickly realized their reactions were about them and their fears, not me. Some people felt threatened, some confused, and some encouraged me. This was the same general reaction I got from coworkers when I decided to leave my career as a special agent. The fear of them not being able to imagine giving up their safety net was what they were really reflecting to me. And so, after giving my all to my family and my business, there's just not a lot of time left for friend drama. I have some amazing friends that I always make time for, and some people who have fallen off the radar. That might sound cold or lame, but I can't tell you how freeing and energizing it is not to take on the stress of friendships that really drag you down, whether you're conscious of it or not. All right, now let's talk about family. This area of my life is my first priority and probably should have come first on my list of how I make my life more simple. Because what it comes down to is if it takes away from my family, then it's not the right thing for me to be doing. Obviously, I have to spend time working, and I value my alone time. It really is all about balance. Some days I work more, and some days I'm with my family more. But I know at this point when something starts to feel off or it's too much, and that balance gets wonky. Since I have one child in grade school and one in daycare, my workday has to be done or almost done by the time I pick them up. Then it's running errands or park time, and then it's family and evening routine time. What that means is I'm trying to squeeze an entrepreneur's week into somewhere between 20 and 25 hours a week. The work has to get done, the content has to get created, because I want to be present with my family when I'm with them, not checking for emails from clients or a boss. I decided a long time ago I would always be the captain of my own ship, even if it's a dinghy. So there are some really great productivity helpers that I have discovered over my years in business that help me be more productive and help me simplify. So I'm going to go through them real quick, but I will link you up over on the blog. The first one is brain.fm. It's a paid website that does background music and white noise based on what activity you're trying to do, whether it's intense focus or 7 hours of sleep. It's uncanny, but it works. If you can find their lifetime deal on AppSumo, get it. Next is the Facebook newsfeed Eradicator. The Facebook newsfeed Eradicator is a Chrome plugin that won't show my newsfeed on my desktop. I can still navigate to groups and Messenger, but I don't get distracted or sucked into scrolling and seeing tempting ads. I don't have it installed on my phone, so when I'm relaxing at night, I can still scroll through and catch up on the day if I wish. For more of my favorite tools and resources, visit my resources page. The next thing that I do is making sure I get rid of my browser bookmarks. Decluttering my browser bookmarks has freed up so much mental clutter, and it's unreal. I was pointed to a great little ebook called Highly Sensitive and Seriously Stuck. It was one of those advice books that spoke to me at the right time. Natalie offers some amazing insight and tools for those of us introverts who have a hard time dealing with overwhelm. She offers her email list signups access to a bunch of free resources, the most important of which is a Google Sheet that serves as a home to document and keep relevant links for anything evergreen or current. The act of clearing out my bookmarks and really going through and deciding what's still applicable and useful feels like the best spring cleaning ever. The next thing that I do is I unsubscribe without mercy. Inbox zero is attainable. I have committed to unsubscribing from any email that is inbox clutter immediately upon getting it. I've unsubscribed from all email lists except for a handful of people who consistently provide me with real value and insight, and it feels good for my business. When I say a handful, I mean there are actually only about 5 people I still get emails from. Try it by actually making a list of whose emails you open, read, and apply, and unsubscribe from everything else. I even wrote a blog on how amazing this one action has been for myself and my business. Next, go ahead and disable those notifications. Notifications are the bane of modern existence. Heads down, sore necks, thumbs scrolling. My friend Kat likens the societal tick we've established by checking our phones constantly to getting up and opening your front door every 5 minutes, just in case someone is there. That's a pretty accurate picture, huh? Disable every notification you can possibly get away with on your phone. What you'll realize when you go in periodically to check for notifications is nothing was really that urgent anyway. Better yet, go ahead and disable social media apps on your phone at certain times of the day. Set a timer for how much you can use them on your phone, and totally take them off your phone on the weekend. Last, we're going to talk about using your planner. Your planner is only going to work for you if you use it. Make filling out your planner part of your morning or Sunday routine. If you want to combine planning your Pinterest strategy with a traditional and simple planner, check out the Pin Power Planner. Finally, you need to find the right resources for you. When you sign up for my Pinterest and Entrepreneurship Resource Library, you'll get instant access to 13 workbooks, checklists, videos, and how-tos to save you time, get quick wins, and take control of your business like the CEO you are. Because you're not winning any points or getting gold stars for learning all these how-tos on your own. So that's it. I would love to hear what simplicity tips and tricks you have for your business and your life. Thanks so much for listening, and I will see you next time.
Want to know more about Pinterest marketing for your online business? Head over to pinpowermethod.com, the first Pinterest marketing membership designed for entrepreneurs. We'll catch you next time, Rockstar.